Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Uncle Mad here live on Saturday night. We've been doing these live streams on Sunday mornings ahead of the NFL slate the last couple weeks, but bumped to Saturday night tonight because I think tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock local time, I'm going to be going to Lost Patty, the local pub here where the Manchester United fans of Middle Tennessee gather for watch parties to watch Manchester United versus West Ham. 9 o'clock local time. That's been, kind of in the window where I've been doing these live streams on Sundays. So by the time I went to there, watch the game, could get home, get set back up, everything ready to go. Probably wouldn't have time to get the live stream in before all the games kick off. So I decided to do it tonight so I could get my picks out because they have been on fire. 10-2 2 weeks ago, 8-4 last week. Fade. We can't keep being this hot on NFL picks, but also going to talk a little Titans. I mean, don't want to do it, but we're going to do it. And for the first time ever, I'm live streaming this using my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. If you watched earlier today, I released a new vlog that I filmed completely on this. Just got this camera. Jessica gave it to me as an early Christmas present so that I could, be able to use it on our vacation that we have coming up to the Bahia Resort in Mexico. We always have fun down there, and it'll be fun to document it all with this new camera, but I've been trying to do as much with it I can before we go so I can get all the bells and whistles and tricks and gimmicks all worked out and figured out before we go. So testing it out because it can double as a webcam. So this is the first time ever live streaming using that, as opposed to I had kind of just a janky random webcam that I bought on Amazon that I've been using for most of the time that I've been doing these streams. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on replay, let me know what you think about the picture quality, is there any lag, is there any issues, first time trying this out. It's all, test runs, figuring out how we're doing on that, seeing how we're going. So here we are live Saturday night. Got a little football on the TV, college football right now. Just turned off the Wisconsin Penn State game. I had Wisconsin plus 6.5. That's going to be a loser. Watching LSU, Texas A&M. I believe I've got LSU plus 1.5 in this game. Looks like Texas A&M just scored. So you might get some live reactions off some previous bets I have as we go through and maybe add some new bets today. But yeah, we're going to talk Titans. It's going to be disgusting because nobody wants Titans. We've got my man, the Bear of Texas. He's in the feed. He said, football, yay. Yes. Even when bets aren't going your way, even when your team sucks, you'd rather have football than no football. So it's a good time of year. Fall has fallen in Nashville. I got to tell you, tonight I was out reffing some games, soccer games. And as the sun went down, it feels like fall outside. So it's really football, that kind of crisp air. We don't get a lot of fall in Nashville anymore. It kind of sucks. We get maybe a week and a half of fall. Like a week and a half from now, it's going to be winter. We're going to be like, did we not get fall? It was like 90 degrees a week ago. We're going to get 4 days of mid to low 60s, and then it's going to drop down to the 40s and 50s until February. It sucks. We don't get real true fall here in Nashville anymore, but that's neither here nor there. We got football. It makes it feel like fall. These couple of days of fall we got, I kind of want to make some chili. Maybe I'll make chili tomorrow during the Titans game. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about the game. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Nothing's really changed in terms of my thoughts, my approach, my feelings about the Titans. Obviously, the big news this week, 2 trades were clearly, if there's any doubt left, we've put a wash on the season. Traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs. I think it's like a 5th-round pick that could potentially bump up to a 4th-round pick, but he has to play 60% of the snaps for them, and they have to win the Super Bowl, which both of those seem very feasible, so who knows. But it's good. It's fine. We weren't going anywhere. Recouping some stuff, kind of building back up our draft capital to move forward in the future. We also traded Ernest Jones Jr., who'd been a pretty solid player for us this year. He was a linebacker we acquired right before the start of the season from the Rams. There's a weird tweet where Adam Schefter was gassing up Ram Carthon, that's how you make the system work for you, because we traded a 5th-round pick to get Ernest Jones, and then we traded him now to the Seahawks, and we got a 4th-round pick and a player. So it's that's how you make the system work. Ram Carthon's cooking. And I don't know if Ram Carthon's people are the ones that are feeding that to Adam Schefter, because anytime you see Adam Schefter gas up somebody, it's something he got told to do by somebody's agent. Same for Ian Rappaport and all these NFL insider people. And I don't know if it was Ram Carthon's people. I don't know if it was Amy Adams Strunk, but I'm we're 1-5 and you're gassing up our GM. That's how you make the system work. If he was making the system work, we wouldn't be 1-5, right? Am I crazy here? Yeah. Yeah. So we clearly, if it wasn't, any ambition, any hope for this season is clearly out the window. With those trades, we're clearly folding. We're trying to, recoup our losses, prepare for the future as much as we possibly can. It all looks like we're going to get another week of Mason Rudolph. Brian Callahan was kind of coy about it throughout the week, talking, we're going to give, Will a chance to play. But I mean, it's been, for all intents and purposes, reports out of practice have been that it's all been all Mason Rudolph taking all the snaps, doing all the preparation. So be completely shocking if he's not the starting quarterback for the Titans again. And for all everybody said, the people who were like so anti-Levis, so like, let's bench Levis, let's get Mason Rudolph in there. It's like, we got him last week. Wasn't any better. The offensive line still sucks. The whole operation still sucks. It's bad. I've been very critical of Brian Callahan. Coming out of last week's game, if I'd done like a live stream or like a early week recap of the game, I probably would have gone scorched earth on Brian Callahan, because like the blowing second half leads, granted, we know the roster sucks. The roster doesn't necessarily suck. We know offensive line sucks. Quarterback play has been disastrous for the Titans this year. But I'm just like, if you're leading and constantly blowing second half, so you're constantly like, the second half is so much worse than the first half of every single game. To me, that has always been like something that, and this is just me thing. Like this isn't like a film study or like a deep analyst thing. This is just, I always feel like if you get just picked apart and everything falls apart in the second half, that's a coaching thing to me. Cause like, that's like the other team figured some things out. The other team put some things together. You did not, you came out and you were very poor. So like, I've always blamed coaches when a team is not good in the second half of games. That's been our MO all season long. I think like every game just about, we've either been in it at halftime or even leading at halftime and just scored almost no points in the second half of every single game this season, with the exception of like Miami, the one win. And I want to blame that on coaching, but like, it's so hard to like, we know the deficiencies. Like if quarterback sucks, it just brings your whole team down. If offensive line sucks, like that's probably like the two most important positions, arguably, on a team, is like offensive line and quarterback, and we're not good at either. Texas A&M just punched in another score here to go up 27-17 early in the fourth quarter. But this, my LSU -1.5 or +1.5. I can't remember which side it was. It was 1.5 one way or the other. Either way, not looking great right now for that bet. Ooh, this could be a rough day for college football. All my bets were like kind of right on the fringe going into the fourth quarter. And so far, everything has gone the wrong way in the fourth quarter of these games. So this might all fall apart. I might not have any money left to bet on NFL games tomorrow, but I'll still give my picks because that's what I'm here to do. Yeah, I lost my train of thought there. But so there's this guy, a local like guy who covers the Titans here, Stoney Keeley. I really like him. I value his opinion. He's one of the guys who I kind of like listen to and try to like get information from. And he's been saying, week after week after week, that he's watching the film and like the play design, the stuff the Titans are doing is right, that it looks good, that it's well executed. It's not well executed. The designs are good. He's saying if you watch the film, the designs are good. It's not bad coaching. It's not bad scheming. It's just bad execution from bad players. And so he's like saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to Brian Callahan and the Titans' new kind of regime. He's saying it's there. He's saying with better players, better execution, it's going to start to click. And it's first year. We're 6 games into Brian Callahan. There's always going to be like a crazy overreaction, which, like I said, if I'd done this video Monday or even like Sunday afternoon, I would have just been like, fire Brian Callahan, fire Ran Carthon, sell the team. I would just been like, burn the whole thing down. But like I've, listened to enough people that are smarter than me to where like I've calmed down a little bit. I know the season sucks. I know it's going to be bad the rest of the way. We might not win the game. Like I've looked through our schedule the rest of the way. There's maybe 2-3 games that you could kind of say maybe we can win, but like then you're like, but how? So it's be a rough season, but ideally, if everything does go poorly, if everything goes off the rails, hopefully we can put ourselves in the right position to be able to make a draft pick. Hopefully we can get that draft pick wrong. The history of the Titans in like top 5 picks has not gone very well traditionally. Like, Vince Young, Jake Locker, Pac-Man Jones, some of our highest picks have been some of our worst picks. We tend to do better in like that, like 10 to 18 range. So we'll see what happens. I'll go ahead and tell you one of my best bet for NFL Week 8. I don't even know what the spread is live. I think I got it at like +11 or -11. I'd take whatever the lines are. I can't imagine, unless it's like 20 points. I don't know that there's any spread that I would not take the Lions in the Titans game this week, because I do believe no matter what happens, the Titans are going to get smoked. My good friend, the Bear of Texas, says, I didn't even bother previewing the Dallas versus San Francisco game. If you guys can't tell from his handle there, the Bear of Texas, he's Texas guy through and through, Dallas Cowboys. He does a lot of content covering them, and just like the content we've been doing covering the Titans here, it's been rough for them this season. And I don't blame you for not wanting to cover that game, man. Like, especially just because like both teams are kind of in a weird spot too. Like the 49ers are super beat up with injuries. They've been having kind of a wonky season, so it's kind of like, those games where like I could see you as a Cowboys fan, you might want to look at it and go like, oh man, look at all the injuries on the 49ers. They haven't been that good season. This could be get right spot for us. But I just could see why you wouldn't even want to talk about it, because it's just it could end up just turning out so badly. Because I think both teams are probably looking at that game going, this is the get right spot, and who knows what's going to go which way and the other way. And we'll get into, I'll probably give you a pick on that here in a second, because we're going to go through the full slate of NFL games and give full picks and previews and everything like we always do here. And that's probably a good transition, because I don't really want to talk about the Titans game anymore. Said all I wanted to say about it. I think they're going to get blown out. Like I said, whatever the current spread is for the game with the Lions, I would take the Lions all day, every day. That would be my best bet. Breaking news. Shohei Ohtani goes back to the locker room with an apparent left arm injury after attempting to steal second base. Yoicks. That might not be good for the Dodgers. They're up 4-1, though. I don't know what the current score is, but they're up 4-1 last time I checked in on that game. So, all right, before we get into the picks and previews, my patented, undefeated, true, accurate power rankings. Here we go. Number 1, still undefeated. Got to keep them at the top. The Chiefs, Ravens, strong number 2. I would put the Ravens at number 1 if the Chiefs aren't undefeated, but I can't take the Chiefs off number 1 until somebody takes them off of number 1. Lions up to number 3. Packers up to 4. Texans to 5. Bills at 6. Vikings dropped to 7. Been a little rough stretch for the Vikings after starting off so hot. I think we're seeing a little bit more what the real Vikings are, but they're still, competitive. They're still solid. They haven't like completely fallen apart. I think we're just seeing that they're, 5-0, good start for them, but probably not, amongst the elite, but we'll keep them high for now, see how the rest of the season goes. 49ers, I have 8. That feels a little high, but it's a weird season. Like, looking at what I've got behind the 49ers, it's hard to put any of those teams ahead of them. I've got Commanders at 9, Steelers at 10, Seahawks at 11, Bears at 12, Cardinals 13, Eagles 14, Bengals 15, Chargers 16, Bucks 17, Colts 18, Falcons 19, Broncos 20, Saints 21, Cowboys 22, shout out Bear, Texas, Cowboys 22, Rams 23, Jets 24, Jags 25, Browns 26, Giants 27, Raiders 28, Dolphins 29, Pats, Patriots, I got them at 30th, Panthers 31. You know what that means. I have brought them back down. The Tennessee Titans are once again dead last at my power rankings, 32 in all of the NFL. Deservedly so, because like I said, we've got a game coming up after this game with the Lions. I think our next game, if I'm not mistaken, is the Patriots. And, a couple weeks ago, that would have been a game we'd be pointing to going, hey, they suck too. It's going to be the battle of who sucks the worst. But they've turned it over to Drake May. They've had flashes of looking okay. They actually started the game last week in London really well against the Jaguars. And, I had moneyline bet them to win that game because I thought, it looks like LSU's not out yet. Driving it down inside the goal line or inside the 5. This will be good. This will be good. Live TV, folks. But now with them putting in Drake May, maybe clicking some things, with us selling the whole team off, just going to be running out Nick Westbrook-Akine. And you saw the thumbnail. This might not make sense to anybody, but like diehard, hardcore Titans fans threw Mason Kinsey in the thumbnail for this live stream. Mason Kinsey is the, cockroach that won't die. He's been like on the practice squad for the Titans for what feels like 10 years. He feels like he's one of those dudes in college football that everyone, there was like a wide receiver for Ole Miss back in the day. It was number 8. I can't remember what his name was, but it felt like he played at Ole Miss for like 10 years. Mason Kinsey just kept hanging around. He'll get bumped up to the main roster for like 1 or 2 weeks a season, goes back to the practice squad, comes back the next year, makes the practice squad again. Like, I don't even know how he's been around. I thought there was like a limitation to how long you could be on the practice squad. But apparently Mason Kinsey's just been on it forever without any stopping. And he's been officially signed back to the 53 with the trade of DeAndre Hopkins and some of the other moves the Titans made this week. Touchdown LSU, 24-28. We're not dead yet in this game. A lot of time to play. But he's back up. And the funny thing to me about Mason Kinsey has always been, I respect him. He's a grinder. He's clearly like a hard worker. He's not a naturally like, dude you expect to be like a high level NFL wide receiver, but he's grinded it. He's worked his butt off. He's stuck around, kept being on the practice squad. And he's got like these diehard fans in the Titans fan community and Titans Twitter, like some other Titans YouTubers, like just ride or die for that guy. And, at first it was kind of funny to me how like diehard people, were going in for him. But like the more he's stuck around, the more he's worked his butt off, the more he keeps getting these chances, the more, respect the hustle. I can't like hate on the guy. I can't like hate on the people that were like day ones for him. I don't think he's going to pop off and suddenly become like a, Pro Bowler reincarnation of Wes Welker, but good for him that he's gotten his way back onto the main roster. And main roster, that's like wrestling terms, the 53-man roster. And good for those fans who've had his back since day one. But yeah, he'll be back in. But, him, Nick Westbrook, Akine, Tyler Boyd, who it's not what I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be just a complete dude who just like would beat zone coverage all day long, find the open spots. Every catch he's had this season, he's had like 3 guys draped all over him, no separation. Calvin Ridley can't catch pass to save his life. He's complained, and like there's also been talk that like a problem is that they're not getting the ball to him early enough, like so he's not getting in rhythm. Which you can make a case for that. Like I think he's got like 5 first quarter targets all season long, which is kind of insane. Like you feel like you need to feed your best receiver, but he's also been wildly inconsistent when he has gotten thrown the ball. So I don't know what came first, chicken or egg. Is he not doing good because we're not feeding the ball early enough, or is he not doing good because he drops the ball half the time we throw it to him? So those wide receivers, our whole team against, rookie Drake May and whatever the Patriots are running out there, like it's going to be a crap fest. And the Jaguars, who also have sucked most of the season, those were 2 games maybe you could hope to win as a Titans fan, but that's, looks like they're starting to kind of turn the corner and getting things going again. Yeah. Dodgers versus Yankees. Ric Flair versus Harley Race. Couldn't have said it better myself. Bearman is killing it in the comments today. Good stuff as always. Check out his channel. He's got a ton of stuff. He covers wrestling. He covers football. He covers baseball. The beautiful game. The real football, as we would like to say it. I won't use the S word out of respect for the Bearman in Texas, but, football. Real football. It's going to be tough watching Manchester United tomorrow. It's not been a good run. Like, even when they win, it feels like they suck still. So, like, a big win against mighty freaking Brentford last week. And it was like boring crap. Wanted to like gouge my eyeballs out watching it and then go to Fibonacci, get a nice little midweek draw. Jose Mourinho gets himself a red card and kicked out. That was awesome. That was the highlight of that whole game was Jose Mourinho getting a red card. Traditional. There would be no better way for that to go than for Jose Mourinho and his big, matchup against his former club, Manchester United, than getting a red card and sent off at the touchline. All right, let's go to the picks here. Like I said, 10-2 2 weeks ago, 8-4 last week. So we've been doing good. BetMGM. This is who I'm using the lines for, is BetMGM. I've been using DraftKings a lot, but spoiler alert, I ran out of money in DraftKings because the bad thing about this is that you think like 10-2, 8-4. Oh, he's making the money. I don't bet all these games. These are just what I would bet if I did bet. I bet a handful of them. I do like a big stupid parlay with all the picks. Never wins. But if I bet, maybe I should just start betting all these individually because 10-2 2 weeks ago, 8-4, those would be really highly profitable weeks if I was actually betting these. So I'll highlight the ones that are actually bets that I am making. Like I said, Titans, Lions, whatever the Lions are, I'm locking it in unless it's like 30 points. But that's best bet of the week, whatever that is. I don't even know. I'm pulling it up right now. Best bet of the week. Actually, let me tell you. I will pull it up what I locked it in at, and we'll see what it is now to see if I've got the better line. All right, when did I put it in? Let's see here. Come on. All right. Touchdown LSU. All right, I got one bet here. What is it? I have Lions minus 11.5. That is the current line. It's currently minus 11.5 Lions. I'd stick with that. I think this is 14, 17, 21-point win easily for the Lions because like they're on fire this week. John Gruden was on a podcast, Part of My Take this week, said Joe, I'm already calling him Joe. Jared Goff is basically playing like Joe Montana in his eyes now. So that's exactly what you want to hear as a Titans fan. Like, yes, The second coming of Joe Montana is coming into our house today. So we'll log that in. That's going to be our first bet, best bet of the week. Lions minus 11.5. Ravens, Browns. Ravens minus 8.5. Ravens have been coasting lately. They've been on fire. I thought, it's going to be interesting. This is the question of this game is going to be like Jameis Winston's coming in, obviously. Deshaun Watson blew out his Achilles. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Hate that. What? Did you see some of the comments his teammates were making? Like, I know you want to lift your teammate up. I know you don't want to rag on a guy who's down, but it's Deshaun Watson. They're acting like St. Matthew. Blew out his Achilles, not this scumbag dirtbag who deserves to be in prison, not the NFL. I'm going to take the Ravens minus 8.5. Just one final nail in the Browns' coffin, and for all those crappy comments those dudes made praising Deshaun Watson like he was some kind of hero. Ravens minus 8.5 because Deshaun Watson. Cardinals, Dolphins. Dolphins 4.5-point favorite. Okay, so Tua's coming back here in this game. He's not wearing the Guardian cap. Everybody's saying he's great. He's going to be healthy. I'm flashing back to before he got the concussion in the Bills game, and he sucked so bad. He sucked so bad in that game. They were terrible in that game. And the whole rest of the offense, they've been out of rhythm. They haven't looked the same without him. Do they just immediately snap back into it just because he comes back in? Cardinals have kind of come back down to earth. They haven't looked that great this week, but the Dolphins, just is he coming back in just immediately make them 4.5 points better than the Cardinals? I don't think so. I'm taking Cardinals plus 4.5 there. Dolphins can win this game. If everything starts to get back into rhythm, starts to get rolling again, Dolphins can be good. But I could see this being like a shootout, and I kind of like the Cardinals in that situation probably, and keep it close. Cardinals plus 4.5. Jets, Patriots. Jets minus 7. They're getting Hassan Reddick back. He finally ended his holdout. But is he going to go from being on the streets? I'm sure he's working out. I'm sure he's keeping his conditioning up. I'm sure he's keeping things going. But Jets, not good. Not a good football team. Patriots suck. They're obviously terrible. But it's 2-5 versus 1-6, and the Jets are 7-point favorites. Maybe I'm stupid. I took Patriots money line against the Jaguars last week. This is battle of sucky teams. I like the team with maybe the young quarterback to maybe bounce back and get some stuff going. Maybe I'm stupid for sticking with them another week, but I don't like anything I've seen about the Jets. They fired their coach. The mojo still seems to be bad. Aaron Rodgers is just weird. It's such a weird deal. They might win the game, but by 7 points? I'm going Patriots plus 7. Ugh. Falcons, Bucks. All right. Falcons 2.5-point favorites at Tampa Bay. Tampa's been a team I really like. I've kind of been on the wagon with them for the last 2 seasons. I don't want to get off now, but they're really beat up. Mike Evans went out. Chris Godwin shattered his leg playing for some reason towards the end of a game that was pretty much a wash. Falcons, just found ways to win games. I think the real Todd Boyle, their coach, is starting to show his face. He's starting to look like the guy who was not a good coach in his first run with, where was that? Was he the Jets coach? It's funny timing. Was he Jets? He was Jets, wasn't he? He was the dude that was always standing there going, it never looked like he was actually doing anything, and the team was just getting smashed. I think as much as I've liked the Bucs the last few seasons with the injuries and just it might be turning a bad corner for them. I hate to do it, but I'm going Falcons minus 2.5. Packers, Jaguars. This feels like a trap because the Packers. That's a thing. Packers seem like they're starting to get things going. They've Jordan Love's getting healthy. Things are starting to click. They're starting to roll. They're starting to look like what we thought the Packers probably were going to be, a potential Super Bowl team. Jaguars beat up on a bad Patriots team, but they're coming back to America after 2 weeks in London. No bye week. They're just straight back into it here. No rest for the weary. I think this is a 10-point win for the Packers. This is one of those lines where it feels like a trap. It feels like they want me to look at it and go, the Packers are going to kill the Jaguars. 4 is easy. But I think it's a reverse trap, where they want me to take the Jaguars thinking that it's a trap to take the Packers, but it's actually a reverse trap taking the Packers. Packers minus 4. Colts +5 at the Texans. Texans struggling a little bit without Nico Collins. Colts just squeaking out wins, finding a way to win games. Oh man. Oh man, this one's tough. I mean, it was a tight game. They played week 1. It was a tighter game that should be. Hmm. What do we think here? What do we think here? This one's tough. I think the Texans win, but 5 is a lot. The Colts are just hung around. They're keeping themselves in games, stealing wins. This is tough. I'm taking way too much time thinking about this. We're just going to go gut instinct. I liked Colts when I first saw it. We're going Colts +5. I don't know. That was first instinct I had when I looked at that was to take the Colts because they've been keeping games close. Hate it, but we'll go with it. Eagles, Bengals. Bengals -2.5. Bengals. I don't know, the Eagles are coming off a bye, I believe. Did the Bengals play last week? Maybe they're coming off a bye too. I don't know. But the Bengals seem like they've been starting to slowly turn the ship around like they always do. Start out slow and start to slowly get it going. Eagles have just been a catastrophe. Like, I don't know how they're 4-2. If you ask like me, I would have, if you'd ask me, what are the Eagles' record? I'd probably send like 2-5, but they're 4-2 somehow because it feels like their whole season has been a disaster. At Cincinnati, I'll give them the benefit of doubt. Less than 3 points at home, that should be a win. If the Bengals can't cover that, can't win at home, it's probably season over for them. So we'll go Bengals 2.5. Saints at Chargers. Saints -7. I'll take that all day. Although they've played every game just about close. They haven't really pulled away from it. They don't like really explode. It's a weird game last week. That was one of the games I lost was the Chargers Cardinals on Monday Night Football. And I feel like I had it handicapped right, maybe like not exactly right of how like the game went. Cause like I thought, the Chargers just run the ball, pound the ball, control the game, but they didn't really do that. It was really the Cardinals who really had more run control. But the Chargers threw for like, I think Justin Herbert had like 348 yards passing, but they had to kick 5 field goals. They never could score a touchdown. So it was like if 1-2 of those drives ended up as a touchdown instead of a field goal, they would have won and covered that game easily. So I feel like I had the handicap right on that game, but just whatever reason, Chargers couldn't get over the hump and get the ball into the end zone. They had to keep settling for field goals. Saints feel like they've fallen apart without Derek Carr, and everything just does not seem to be going well for them. So, yeah, 7 points should be easy for the Chargers. But if it's like last week where they just can't finish drives, it could be the same thing. I think based on the talent, based on the comparables, should be an easy 7-point cover for the Chargers. But like I said, Monday Night Football against the Cardinals should have been an easy cover, and they found a way to not do that. So Seahawks, Bills -3. Seahawks look like they got a little back, got them some steam back a little bit, but the injuries are piling up for them a little bit. They just got Ernest Jones from the Titans in that trade that just came up there. Bills, though, I mean, what do you learn from playing the Titans? They beat the crap out of us. They didn't even have to basically play the first half. Texas A&M scored. This bet's dead. They didn't basically have to play the first half. Seahawks are certainly going to be a much tougher test than Titans were. Going all the way across the country. Buffalo to Seattle has to be probably one of the longest trips you can take. Probably like Florida to Seattle, but like Buffalo to Seattle is still pretty far. But it doesn't seem like those travel things are affecting teams as much as it used to be. I think there's so much comfort. There's so much ease with travel now that it's not as bad as it used to be. Because it used to be like if it was ever East Coast team goes West Coast, or especially West Coast team goes East Coast, you always would bet the team that was traveling, and it's especially West Coast, East Coast, but it doesn't seem like it's as big a thing as it was. I like the Bills. I'm going to take Bills -3. Bears, Commanders. Now, this is a bit surprising. The Bears are 2.5-point favorites. We don't know what's going on with Jaden Daniels. He's got a rib injury. They've kind of been coy. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? It's bouncing back and forth, kind of similar to what's going on with Levis. It feels more like it's going to be Mariota based on the fact that he's kind of taken all their practice reps, and Jaden Daniels is quote unquote been practicing, been working, but it's been when nobody's seen it. It's kind of been behind the scenes when like media wasn't around. So it feels like Mariota's going to play in this game, but Mariota played, well enough to like carve up the Panthers last week. Mariota, no, he's had such a weird career. Like I'm always going to have a little bit of love for him. It's hard not to like a guy like that, but I don't know if like the Bears are hard to get a read on because I think they're like 4-2. And I think if I got this stat correct, all 4 of their wins are against teams that are 1-5. So their 4 wins are against the 4 worst teams in the NFL. Commanders have some decent wins, played tough against the Ravens recently, beat the crap out of the Panthers with their backup quarterback. Hmm. Hmm. I'm going Commanders plus 2.5. Mariota or not, I think they're a little closer. I think they're probably better coached too. Dan Quinn, a little bit more experience. I think Eberflus is an idiot still. Ooh, biggest spread of the day. Broncos. Is this big spread? No, actually, Titans is the big spread of the week. But second, we got Broncos minus 11 over the Panthers. Panthers going back to Bryce Young. They're going back to. They've got no receivers. Thielen, Deontay Johnson are injured. What are they going to put out there? What are they going to do? How could they possibly? If this was anybody but the Broncos, this might be a 20-point spread. Avaholics in the chat. Let's go Broncos. Yeah. I'm going to say this is 2 official bets that I'm locking in right now that I'm actually going to bet. Titans, Broncos. Feels crazy because like big underdogs have covered all season long. Like the biggest spreads have been covered all season long, but Titans, Panthers, just don't see any path to either of those teams, not only winning the games this week, but even being competitive. Like I think they just both have to get smoked because they have nothing. Like the Panthers, how do you go back to Bryce Young at this point in time? And especially when your top 2 receivers are out too, that just seems disastrous. So we're going Broncos minus 11, and I will be officially betting that one. So Titans, Broncos are official bets. All these others are just what I would bet if I was going to bet. Chiefs minus 9, Raiders plus 9. Feels big. It feels like the Chiefs, with the exception of the 49ers game recently, which was kind of a weird one, haven't really been putting teams away the way they haven't played like the Chiefs this year. It's like crazy. Like Mahomes has like 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, but they're still undefeated. They're still 6-0. They're just winning games. Do they smoke the Raiders here? Do they win by 9? Am I going to pick all these like huge favorites? I think so, because I think we've passed the point of the season where like there's going to be some weird stuff here and there throughout the rest of the season. There always is going to be. But I think in a lot of cases, we're figuring out who's what teams are what. And I think the Raiders are right there with the Panthers and Titans as being just like horribly bad. They did the same thing the Panthers did where they benched Gardner Minshew, and then now the Aiden O'Connell, who they benched him for, got hurt. Now they're having to go back to Gardner Minshew, which is the one kind of maybe silver lining of the Titan situation is we didn't have to bench Will Levis. He got hurt first. So, I'm sure his ego seems like it's been shattered already, but it's not going to be like the Panthers where it's like Bryce Young's getting thrown back into the fire, where Gardner Minshew is like, hey, we benched you 2 weeks ago. Guess what? You're the starter again. Sorry, buddy, but it's because this guy got hurt. Yeah. Chiefs minus 9. Sunday Night Football. My guy, Barrett, Texas. We talked about it a little earlier. Cowboys, 49ers. Cowboys 3-3. 49ers 3-4. I know it hasn't been a good season for the Cowboys. The 49ers are 4.5-point favorites. No Brandon Ayuk. No Deebo Samuel. I think Kittle's questionable as well. You know what? I'm going to do this for the Barrett, Texas. I think I've got a read on him and what he wants to see from the Cowboys. He probably wants Mike McCarthy gone. And this is a game that could be a nail in the coffin of Mike McCarthy to have a situation like this where the 49ers are so beat up. I mean, the Cowboys are beat up too. They don't have Micah Parsons. They don't have they've got a couple other injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but it feels like a game that could be a kick in the teeth to Mike McCarthy. Although Jerry Jones has been like adamantly defending the team and all their moves and everything has been crazy seeing some of the stuff he's been doing, like threatening to fire like radio hosts for asking tough questions. So it seems like the wheels are coming off in Dallas. Let's go 49ers 4.5, even though that seems crazy based on the injuries and stuff that the 49ers are dealing with. But the Cowboys just might be all coming apart there. Giants Steelers Monday Night Football. And there's confirmation from the Bear. Yes, he wants McCarthy gone and Jerry needs to go. Well, Barry, man, I think one of those can potentially happen if results keep going a certain way. The other one is probably going to have to ask the Grim Reaper for some help on the other one. So for you, I will pick the 49ers to hopefully potentially be helping to put the nail in the coffin of Mike McCarthy, but probably not the nail in the coffin of Jerry Jones. He seems like one of those guys who's just going to live a very long time for whatever reason, like a Hugh Hefner, Stanley type that's just going to be like, how is he still going? What is happening here? And how is he still in charge of the team? Do we need another general manager? How is this like 117-year-old man controlling the draft? Giants, Steelers, Monday Night Football, Steelers -6. Not even going to think about it. I like the Steelers this year. They've got something going with Russ where maybe, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. LSU just threw the worst interception I've ever seen. That bet was dead, and LSU just buried it into the ground. LSU +1.5, dead and buried. He just threw it right to like a defensive lineman, put him right in his hands. Wow, that was terrible. All right, so Steelers -6. Not going to overthink it. Giants have been terrible. They've had a couple of weird pop-up games where they've looked okay, but Steelers, if they just can get solid, competent quarterback play. When Justin Fields didn't kill them early on, they're fine. Feels like Russell Wilson is, he loses the mobility you get from Justin Fields, but he's a little bit more not going to hurt you, not going to kill you. And it seems like they're bringing back the old Russell Wilson days of Seattle where he's just throwing the high, crazy moonshots down the field to George Pickens. And it's either George Pickens makes the most insane play possible or draws a pass interference. So Steelers -6. All right, let's recap. Let's review. We've got 15 legs in this parlay. Like I said, the two that I'm 100% going to lock in, Titans -11, Titans, Lions, Two I'm locking in, Lions -11.5, Broncos -11, Panthers and Titans, two worst teams in the NFL. Should get smoked just about every single week for the season going forward. So here we go. Full slate. Lions -11.5, Ravens -8.5, Cardinals +4.5, New England +7, Falcons -2.5, Packers -4, Colts +5, Bengals -2.5, Los Angeles Chargers -7, Buffalo Bills -3, Washington Commanders +2.5, Broncos -11, Chiefs -9, 49ers -4.5, Steelers -6. All right, let's log it in. We're going to put a $1 bet on this 15-leg parlay. $1 bet. If all 15 legs hit, we are going to cash $14,425.20. I hit all 15 of my picks. We're going to be living well. Probably won't happen. 8-4 last week, 10-2 the week before. Been good, been solid. 15-0, very unlikely. And you would almost think 2 good weeks in a row, this has to be the week it flips. So I would almost fade my full slate. You'd probably be doing pretty good there. So 15-pick parlay locked in. Lions -11.5, Broncos -11, both already locked in. We got those locked in. We're good. Good to go. My mom just texted me, Freddie wins it again. Did Freddie hit another walk-off? Or was that just his earlier home run? Hang on. This is the worst World Series for me because I hate the Dodgers. I hate I almost said the Ravens. I do hate the Ravens. Hate the Dodgers. I hate the Yankees. But I can't hate Freddie Freeman. Love the Braves. Longtime Brave. Can't possibly ever hate. Can't ever possibly hate Freddie Freeman. Where we got here? Let me see if I can get a live update on Twitter. Okay, no. Dodgers had the bases loaded. Jose Trevino flew out on the first pitch. Dodgers won 4-2. Freddie Freeman had a home run in the game that was probably the game-winning home run, but it wasn't like a freaking walk-off like last night. That was, like I said, hate the Dodgers. Watching Freddie Freeman hit that walk-off grand slam last night was electric. Not only because I love Freddie Freeman, but I also had Dodgers money line and over 8.5 in that game. So it was a double winner for me hitting that there. Oh, man. I did want to throw something up. Bearman threw this out a little bit earlier while I was kind of ranting and raving, but he put up here, Xavi is rumored to be the man to take over as Ten Hag is fired. Bearman, you've said it many times on your show. You've said it on Twitter. Until Fabrizio Romano says it, I don't believe it. I do think United is probably getting their ducks in a row, making sure they've done their due diligence to have some ideas in place. Should Ten Hag go? They did that this summer. I mean, it's pretty much confirmed. They talked to Tuchel. They talked to a couple other managers just to gauge interest, just to see what might be out there if they decided to fire Ten Hag in the summer. Ultimately, coming off the FA Cup win, they decided to stick with him to at least give him one more season. It was a hard spot. I could see why it's hard to fire him. I was hopeful that, certainly they could build on it. They could, with the new Ineos takeover, with them running the club, there could be some changes. There could be some things that would go in the right direction. But it definitely seems like Ten Hag just can't figure it out. Like, I mean, he's got his players. I mean, the roster is, that's maybe one of the problems is they let him build the roster instead of letting, like, director of football, the organizing people control the things. They let him have too much power, and maybe it's gave him enough rope to hang himself type of situation. I have a hard time seeing Xavi being in the mix for it. Like, that feels like one thing where, like, Xavi's agent might have floated his name out there because had a decent little run at Barcelona, but it's not like anybody was like raving about him the way like when Zidane came in and took over Real Madrid, or it wasn't like anybody was going, "Oh, Xavi is a wonder." It's you win at Barcelona. You should win at Barcelona, and like he was just okay. Like I don't know that he's like a manager that the Ineos leadership that's taken over United is going to look at and say that's the guy to be the next great United manager. I think that I would, if I was just a betting man, I would, and I am a betting man. I place a lot of bets and lose a lot of bets, but my suspicion is the Xavi rumor is more put out there from Xavi's camp than some of the other ones. Because some of the other names that are coming up are ones we've heard in the past. Like I believe Sporting's manager, he's like a hot name. Was in the mix for potentially Liverpool, potentially Chelsea, potentially several other jobs this past offseason. Thomas Frank, the manager at Brentford, has been just like, he seems like he's the next guy to jump up to one of the bigger clubs from one of the smaller clubs in England. Xavi seems like a long shot to me. I don't know if I completely buy that one. Bear says, it doesn't matter as long as the Glazers are in charge. There's zero hope. I want the Glazers gone. That we are on the path to where they are going to be completely gone, theoretically, in the next few years. But I think Ineos has shown, they've put in the right structure. They're putting in the right investments. They're doing the right things to get things turned around. When we get to the point where there's no point of no return for Ten Hag, they'll make the right decision there. And hopefully, because they didn't bring in Ten Hag. Ten Hag is the previous leadership, the Glazers. They're people that they put in charge. When Ten Hag goes, which feels inevitable at this point in time, we'll see what Ineos has. We'll see what do they do. Do not hire Gareth Southgate, please, God. That, I mean, if the Ineos, if Ratcliffe and Ineos, if they bring in Gareth Southgate, put him in with the Glazers because they're just as dumb as the Glazers have been. So it does suck. The Glazers are still technically involved in Manchester United, but the fact that they are no longer really in control has been at least a breath of fresh air, has, given reason to think there are better days coming. Whereas as long as the Glazers were fully in control of Manchester United, it's like you said, there was no hope. But I'm trusting Ineos. I'm trusting Jim Ratcliffe. I'm trusting that, they are making a commitment to actually making United a competitive top-tier football club, not a cash cow for cashing in dividends, which is all the Glazers cared about. So we'll wrap it on that one. This was a fun little Saturday night stream. Thanks to those that jumped in the chat. Bearman, Avaholics96. If you're watching live or you're watching on replay and you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so because we do these live streams from time to time. And like I said, I've got this new camera. I'm going to be doing a lot of new vlogs, kind of testing it out, kind of getting used to it before we go on our annual trip down to the Caribbean, me and Jesta, for our anniversary trip that we do every November. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of cool content coming soon. I may do something live tomorrow because I think I'm going to be watching the Titans game at home. They're at Detroit. It's not here in Nashville, so I'm not going to the game. So I might do a live watch along, just another chance to test the camera, especially with the kind of live streaming capabilities that it has, and see if I can how that works. And I'll probably do some type of vlog throughout the day tomorrow because I got a lot of stuff planned for tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to go to probably our local pub to watch the United game. Going to watch the Titans game home. Whether I do a live stream or just vlog what I'm doing while I'm watching the game, I'll get some content there. And I got a pretty cool dinner planned tomorrow night with family. Nice little dinner coming. So probably that vlog and another vlog. And if you didn't watch today's vlog, the big announcement, the big thing that's come out, cookie reviews are coming back. I need an excuse to film some stuff and to get some test runs with this camera. So Crumbl cookie reviews coming back. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on for notifications. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody jumping in. I'm going to get Bearman on the channel sometime. He's been a great chatter today. I got to get him on here and do some commentary live, some banter back and forth live. So Bearman, next time, future, I'm going to send you the link. We'll get you in the channel with me there. Thanks for watching as always. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your bagels.